Cosatu is calling on its members to join in the planned national shutdown tomorrow. The Union Federation says this national action is a response to the ongoing power cuts, fuel price hikes and escalating food prices. To discuss this further, we are joined by Cosatu's Bheki Ntshalintshali. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Mr. Ntshalintshali. I mean, let's start with the criticism that's come to you and SAFTA over the last 2 days, saying this kind of strike, not only is it not going to change the current situation of the workers, but also it may plunge the economy into further disarray. What say you as Cosatu?
A strike of one day will never destroy the economy. In fact, the intention of the strike is to make those that are in power to realize the problem that we're facing and to act with an agency that is needed. People are starving, people are dying already because of the economic crisis that we have. And what we're just asking is for the society to discuss and find a way forward, and those that are in power to listen.
To listen indeed, but another issue that's been raised here, Mr. Ntshalintshali, is the fact that to boost the economy, we're supposed to have more people working and all sorts of other employment opportunities being created. And that is one thing that our government has failed dismally at doing. So when you talk about getting government to sit up and take note of the plight of the workers, what immediate solutions would you suggest they put on the table?
Look, it's not only, I think we need to emphasize, it is not only government, it's also business people who in these particular processes are making a lot of money. They don't care about the question of unemployment. We are asking government, for an example, that they have tabled recently a plan to save Eskom, because Eskom is key. Without the security of energy supply, we're not going to go anywhere. We can talk about inviting investment, but when you tell people who got money to invest that you can't secure you can't guarantee the energy supply, they will move away and going somewhere. So what we are calling for government is to come quite openly and say, how are they going to assist Eskom in dealing with the renewal of their fleet? Because they said they understand the thing that we've been raising all along, that Eskom is finding difficult to procure the stuff that they need. So there's no debate about that. Secondly is that government must quantify. In our view, they should not wait for the MTBS in October to be able to come out with their plan. They need to act it now to save the situation before it becomes irreversible or irreparable. So we got a lot of ideas that we have been giving to government, including the Eskom Social Compact, including changing the law in regarding to the Regulation 28 to have the impact investment. We want business to stop the investment strike. It's not something difficult, it's something easy. If our businesses can put money and invest here in our country, other people outside the world will see that South Africa has a future.
That is a very good point that you raised there. But I wonder, as we embark on actions of this nature and changing the way in which people live in South Africa, if it's something that can happen in the medium term. You've spoken about issues around Eskom, and there are now issues of the basic income grant, which, by the way, there are conversations happening at the moment. You can maybe share your thoughts on this. But another one that I want you to share your thoughts on, Mr. Ntshalintshali, is the issue around wages, especially for public service workers. We are seeing a lot of loggerheads at the moment, and that, I suppose, is one of the things that affects the workers, you know, which are majority employed by government.
Indeed, this is what we term it a hypocrisy by our government. They came out and said, thank you very much to the public sector. They did a wonderful work, particularly those on the frontline workers during the COVID. They saved our lives. They put their own lives online to save all of us. And government said, thank you very much. You are so important. But then they turn around the corner and said, sorry, you are bloated. We can't give you any increase. As if that was not enough. They came a few months later and they said, look, there's a good increase that we should be giving to the political office bearers. It does make sense, and I think they are very insensitive in dealing with the public services. There's a shortage of police, there's a shortage of teacher. If you look to the teacher pupil rate ratio, you look to the nurses and the doctors, everything indicate otherwise, and to say you need to do something. So it is the hypocrisy, the insensitive of how government are dealing with this issue. So we're very worried about our own government not, respecting the collective bargaining, not respecting the rights that we have in the Constitution. So we hope somebody will have to listen. Some of the people that are there should be saying, we can't go in this way.
We cannot indeed. And I mean, one of the issues that this shutdown also speaks to is unity. We've seen around the world, Mr. Ntshalintshali, how citizens have rallied together to make their voices heard, whether it be in the UK or parts of Asia and other parts of the world. And I just wonder if you're confident that you're going to see that rallying up by South Africans to voice their pain in literal instances to government, but also maybe just explain to us the unity in this instance between yourselves and SAFTU. Have there been engagements on a national level about doing this on the same day, albeit being different trade federations?
No, there's been not an engagement at the national level. Cosatu, following the action that we do, by the way, we must emphasize the point that the right to protest action is in our Constitution, is in our labor law, is agreed. It's not something that we're doing because we are hot-headed. It's something that we agreed is protected and is protected in our law. In exercising that right, we should not be intimidated about the economic collapse, because those who crafted this legislation were careful about how you exercise the protest action differently from the strike. So there should be no debate about being careless in exercising your constitutional right. Secondly, there's been no talk about this issue. Our view as Cosatu, as one of the oldest and biggest trade union, is that this is a societal issue. This is not a trade union matter alone. Everybody who's affected by the cost of living, concerns about the economy, should find a way one another to protest. Whether you are 5, whether you are 10, as long as you can make the impact that people can see that something needed to be done. So in that context, getting the same day, I think, is coincidental, but it's something that we should appreciate moving forward. Maybe it may lead to the question of uniting workers, because when workers are divided, and divided mainly by their leaders, the workers suffers on the ground.
No, that's absolutely true. Thank you very much for your contributions this afternoon, Mr. Ntshalintshali. He's of Cosatu. And of course, just speaking about tomorrow's proceedings, the shutdown that the Trade Union Federation has called for to protest the unaffordable cost of living in South Africa at the moment.